Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All of Life podcast. I don't know why I'm being this loud, but I'm excited. It is good to be here. Warren here, Jim here, John here. Jim was gone for our last episode, but he's made his big return. And so, man, we are in the fall season or moving towards it. We say that around here, even though the temperature is still like 110, because we want to psych ourselves out of the reality of the heat that is still on top of us. So anyway, we're moving into the fall season. It's been a really good summer season. Part of the reason even Jim was out and maybe even we've been a little bit more sporadic here is because of vacations and stuff like that. But we're back, calling this like a new season of the All of Life podcast. We are back in and looking forward to having a lot more discussions where we're talking about everything through the lens of Jesus' lordship. The fact that all of life is all for him. So here at Redemption Tempe through the summer, we actually did one of my favorite sermon series, Life of Abraham. And so we have some thoughts on that. But before we do that, what we always do, if you've joined us before, you know how we start this. We start with what's at the top of our minds. And so would love to get us started there today. What is it? Today's August 4th, 11:15 right now. What's at the top of your guys' mind today?
Yeah. I got a simple one.
Yeah.
We were just talking before we started here on how this has been one of the cooler summers over the last 5 or so years.
It 500 or so years.
500 or so years.
Just 500 years.
Yeah. It's been really nice. We had a cool June, July. There were actually days that it didn't even hit 100. And what I'm thinking about is that when it's hot, everyone's complaining.
Yeah.
But when it's actually a nicer summer, almost nobody acknowledges it. And it just, I think...
Oh, man.
I think there's something about the human condition post-fall that is trained to see the thorns and thistles way more than God's grace.
Come on, dude.
You know?
Come on.
And we experience so much more grace in any moment that if we were fully able to take it all in, we would just be on our faces crying with gratitude all the time.
Totally, man. I'm so glad you said that because it ties into my top of the mind.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, it was Sunday, and, one of the questions you get at church a lot is like, how are you doing? What's the season been like? And I found myself, I was talking to one of our long-term members, and he was asking me, as he often does, which I really appreciate. He's like, how are things going? I found myself like searching my mind for something hard to tell him. And then I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I was like, no. Like, instead of search my mind for something hard, something difficult that I feel like I just need to name to maybe give off the appearance of human. Just like, dude, I was like, forget that. There's a lot I'm grateful for. There's a lot that God's actually doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways I'm experiencing his grace that feels so much harder to acknowledge than all the hard things that sometimes we're dealing with. So that was top of the mind for me.
Yeah.
I feel
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've been conditioned in Arizona to complain about the heat.
Yeah.
And I saw some forecasts on the weather that the summer average was 15 degrees cooler than a typical summer.
Wow.
Whoa.
So when it was typically 118, it was 103, like throughout July. And it's on record, I saw in July, maybe it was for the month of July or the whole summer, the coolest summer we've had in 26 years.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And if you think about it, even Arizona at its hottest is livable. I read something recently in a book that said something like 94% of the earth is basically uninhabitable.
Wow.
And, you've got this little 6% that is just God's gift, and you get to be there and live. Like, you could be at the bottom of the ocean.
Totally.
And you'd be dead.
Or in Antarctica or something.
Yeah. In Antarctica. Yeah.
So,
What's on the top of mind for you?
was that it?
Was that?
No.
Okay.
When does fall begin? Because like the calendar year.
Genesis 3.
Yeah. I know you said there was this post-fall condition.
Joke.
I'm like, wait, summer's pre-fall.
Yeah.
When does
like
it actually begin?
Everybody's back to
Isn't it
school.
October?
Well,
Isn't that the official
there's
start?
like the official start of autumn. But like, is it marked by
Labor
pumpkin
Day?
spice
Oh,
flavors?
yeah.
You know, like I feel like a lot of people on social media, it's like as soon as pumpkin spice hits,
It's like
it's
September.
fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Are there times when it's not available?
Oh yeah,
Really?
right now
Yeah,
They-
you can't get pumpkin spice stuff.
so they're doing that McRib scarcity thing, huh?
Oh, of course.
Always
Brilliant
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, it is.
seasonal. Then Trader Joe's has their pumpkin month.
Yeah.
That's
Is that
always
September? Is that
I
when
think
it
that's
starts?
October.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like,
I feel like people are listening to us talk about something that's easily Googleable.
yeah,
You know?
the date. It's like September 22nd or something.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That pumpkin spice comes back.
No, that fall actually starts. But I feel like we
Is it in
mark it.
Leviticus that says that fall starts when pumpkin spice is available? Is that the original frankincense and myrrh? Is that what's in pumpkin spice?
I have no idea.
Is
Yeah.
it good? Has anyone ever had that before? I've never had it.
Yeah, it's good.
I've had it.
It's
Tastes like you're eating a candle.
If you like pumpkin flavor, it's good.
I have found that
It's
like
very sugary though.
most adult coffee drinks are just like milkshakes that we're
Yeah.
trying to like make excuses for.
Yeah, you get more than your daily amount of sugar in one drink.
And I'm not
It's
a
a-
coffee drinker, so
I'm thinking about that because my boys went back to school, but they're
Yeah,
not in
yeah.
summer school. It's like a weird thing that
seasons in Arizona are just
seasons are
I'll
weird.
be honest with you, because it's just there's not these like clear demarcations of when seasons start and end.
yeah,
It's like it's hot and it's a little less hot.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, if you had to rename the seasons of Arizona, what would they be?
Hell, purgatory,
Oh
the kingdom, and more of the kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm guessing more of the kingdoms like March.
Oh yeah. Spring. Yeah, it goes summer, purgatory's fall, then winter's the kingdom, and then spring is more of the kingdom.
All right. If I was going to name them,
That's good.
it would be, I'd call summer a Hades winter. Because everyone, like in Arizona, basically lives like it's the winter.
And are you
in
talking
other
about like the
places.
country Haiti or like Hades?
No,
like,
Hades like hell.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like hell.
Okay.
But but we all act like it's the winter.
Yeah.
People are vitamin D deficient
Yeah.
in the summer.
That's crazy.
Because they stay indoors.
Dude, I
Yeah.
heard about that.
Yeah.
That like we are taught in Arizona to like avoid the sun.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us, even though we live in this state, have vitamin D deficiencies. That's crazy,
Yep.
dude.
Especially in the summer when
Insane.
yeah. So there would be that. I think you'd call the fall. It would be called the overcommitment season. That goes from like August till October. October, I always call it the October wall, where everyone has their crisis because they've overcommitted. Then you've got consumption season,
Yeah. November, December.
November, December,
Yeah.
where
Stuff yourself.
yeah.
That's already 4 calendar seasons.
What's that?
I said you already used 4.
Who said there has to be 4? You know, when
reject convention.
All right, how many
the
we got?
person who comes and says there's only 4 and here's what they are, they clearly didn't show up to Arizona and do that.
All right, so how many we got?
We got
Year-round.
like 3, 4-ish, and then so spring. What do we call spring?
Oh, dude, spring's the best.
Spring is like it's justification season.
Oh, wow.
Where it like justifies why you live in Arizona.
Yeah,
that's
for
true.
sure.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Oh yeah, spring's amazing.
That's the time I always send our temperatures back to my family in New York, and I say, life is so much better here.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then I think post April, like April, May, that's milestone season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All just piled on top of each
Weddings,
other.
graduations. Yeah.
All of them.
So, yeah. That's how I would reframe it.
Well, I love that we started this episode with an extended talk about the weather.
We do.
This
We're
is how
getting
you do
old.
small talk, guys.
Yeah. There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
That was podcast
Meteorologist.
over.
All right. So this past summer, like I said, we were in the life of Abraham. We're in the book of Genesis. We went from Genesis 12 to chapter 22, which Jim wrapped up wonderfully yesterday. And man, I think this series, like I said, one of my favorites. I think it surprised us, our church, in a lot of different ways. And so as we come to the end of it now, we want to spend some time just kind of wrapping up a bit, having a little fun with that. And so I know, Jim, you've got a couple of questions. I don't remember the order of like how you were thinking of doing this.
Yeah. One angle would be if you could ask Abraham anything, what question would you ask him? What would you want to know?
Let's start there. If you can ask Abraham one question.
Man, I got a lot of questions I want to ask this guy.
I have some guesses about what some of them might be.
Yeah, the one that it was like the crazy one, like what was it like when God called you, you know? But I'm going to go with a different one. How certain were you that God wouldn't make you sacrifice Isaac?
That's a great question.
Because he told Isaac, God will provide the sacrifice.
Yep.
And like, how certain was he? Like, was there any doubt? Like, I might actually have to kill my boy. Like, I just wonder, like, what was that like?
That can't be a good question because it's already answered in the Bible. Come on, dude.
Well, I didn't get to ask Abraham.
The writer of Hebrews already gave you an answer, John.
Well, I want to hear it from Abraham's mouth.
That's fair. I'm just giving you a hard time.
What would you? What do you think he would say about that moment? John?
Yeah, I feel like he would say that he was pretty certain.
Yeah.
That based on how God had revealed himself and what he knew about God, is that this God, the one true God, is different. And because of the promise made, I think that he was pretty certain that he was willing.
Yeah.
But I think he knew, like, there's no way God's going to make me kill this kid.
Totally.
So that's what I think he would probably say.
Yeah.
But I also think he probably had some real fear of, like, man, what is going on here?
Let me read it in Hebrews. By faith, Abraham, this is Hebrews 11:17. When he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was in the act of offering up his only son, of whom it was said, through Isaac shall your offspring be named. He considered that God was able even to raise him from the dead, from which, figuratively speaking, he did receive him back.
Ooh,
So I think why I think that's a good question is actually Genesis, the language in there is ambiguous, where it leaves space for him to fully believe that God's going to do something here, but also at the same time, no, even if he didn't, he was willing to obey.
Yeah.
But, and the ambiguity.
Yeah.
Abraham believed God could raise him from the dead.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, God's going to provide.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
But to what degree did he have a suspicion about how God was going to do it?
Yeah.
You know, maybe he thought he was going to be like resurrected afterwards. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And he'd have to go through with it or something.
Totally,
Yeah.
man. No, that's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, every time I read that, you know, and then what he says to Isaac, it always hits me.
Yeah.
You know, like the real human wrestle of like a father's love for his son, but what he knew about God, of just, man, that's always a tough, and I mean, you obviously preached it, you know, that's a tough chapter when you really sit in it, you know, the emotion of that is like, geez, this is agonizing.
Yeah. It's tough because you'd want to hear it for the first time if you could. I wish I could go back to when I first heard that
Sure.
and how it hits you, you know?
Yeah.
Totally, man.
It's kind of like watching Sixth Sense. You know,
Yeah.
You know the twist now, so it's not as
Yep.
you're right.
You don't go on the emotional ride as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you ask him?
I think one of the things, like when Sarah sends Hagar and Ishmael out, right? One of the moments that I had there is like, how did you not bring up the fact that like Sarah asked you to be with Hagar and have the kid? Like, I think my tendency in that moment would have been to do the Adam move and just point the finger and go, "This is your fault," right?
Right.
But like, how did he navigate that situation but still have like love for his wife and you know, like not shift the blame towards her?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it says God like spoke to him and all that, but like there was never a point in there where he was like, "Sarah, this is what you wanted."
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
that's a great point.
And so yeah, I think there's just all these moments through it, and I think the story, I think something that was drawn out as we went through it, it was like the flatness of the characters started to go away, right?
Yeah.
And they started to pop. But I still think there's like all these moments of just confusion where it would be like, dude, what was leaving Egypt like?
Yeah.
You know? What was talking to Abimelech after, you know, you find like what was that? What did that conversation actually sound like?
Yeah.
That would be cool to just get a better feel of like the emotional tones of these moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think my question is related to Ishmael as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I deeply connect to that story. And on so many levels, one of them is I would love to know what Abraham's thought life was like and the degree of regret and the sorrow he had. Because you do get a sense that he has real affection for Isaac.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But also for Ishmael.
Right.
Yeah.
And that this isn't just like, okay, do over, we'll go with Isaac. But it's heartbreaking.
Totally.
That his boy, truly his first son, is sent out wandering in the wilderness.
Yeah.
A couple different times. Once in the womb as Hagar gets sent out, but then the other one is like he's actually sending away.
Right.
And I would love to be able to sit down with him in the presence of people who are in the beginning of foolish decisions and just hear him talk about, look, the ramifications, the consequences of the decisions you make. You can get immediate forgiveness.
Sure.
But the consequences and the ramifications and who it affects, repentance doesn't always change that.
Totally.
Yeah.
There are ripple effects.
And just hear his warning of that, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like when he's alone and he thinks about Ishmael.
Yeah.
What goes on in his heart and his thoughts?
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things, Jim, that surprised me as I was prepping my last sermon, I think it was 21, was even in that scene when he sends her away, I don't think I ever noticed how much the Bible tells us how distressed he was. I think I've just like overlooked that.
Yeah.
But it talks about him like reaching this point of like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And God literally has to like come and talk to him and tell him, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, to your point, like this isn't just like hey, I'll start over. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, he loves his son.
For sure. For sure.
So
Yeah. You wonder just even outside of that, how much regret like he lives with, you know?
Yeah.
Because he does some crazy things, you know? He drops the ball. He has flawed faith, and you wonder how much he like is kicking himself for some of this stuff, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Second question, Jim. Tee us up.
All right. So the other one is, what is your anti-lesson from the life of Abraham? In other words, what do you say, don't walk away with this lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
God is going to work on your timeline through you the ways that you think is best.
Yeah. Say more.
Like, I think what we see in the life of Abraham, and I think even something I was hearing from people, it's like, oh, why does God do this? Right? And I think what we always have to remember is like God's greatest concern for us is not like our comfort. It's not our, it's not any of these things in a shallow way. It's like deep formation. And I think a lot of that shapes the timelines that he works, or how he works, right? And so, like, man, they were waiting for a long time, right? And I think if you, in your life, you're waiting for something for a long time, you're like, God, I'm praying about this. Why doesn't it fix overnight or as quick as I want it to? Well, it's because God has a different timeline and finishing line in his mind. And so I think that's one thing that like we struggle with over and over. That is a challenge for us in our walk with him. So yeah, I think that's a big one. Like, and then it's just like the way that he does things. It's it is not the A to B to C to D thing.
Yeah.
Right? He's taken us on a different journey, took Abraham on a different journey. And I think what Abraham left the journey with was like, I trust God and his timing and the way that he is taking me.
So if Genesis 12, God gives the promise to Abraham, then Abraham sits down to write his goals right after that. What do you think he would have written down? His timeline, his life plan.
His life plan, I'm having a kid. Surely not a kid by 100.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he's probably like, okay, so I got to go to where God's going to show me, so that'll probably take a couple weeks. And then 9 months after that.
We have our kid.
Build a little house in the Oaks of Mamre. Lot is going to fall in line, and we're just going to build this huge
compound.
Exactly.
Family commune.
And then by year 3, Sodom and Gomorrah will have been fully blessed and be worshiping the true God.
Totally. There's not going to be any wars with these foreign kings. Everyone is just...
Egypt falls in line.
The foreign nations become allies immediately.
I'll never have to leave this place. I'll just be here.
And then he writes his biography.
And it's anything but that.
So then, what would it be? One chapter is the life of Abraham.
Called him.
But how many of us want that? I mean, even with what you said yesterday, how many of us want that? Like, we've reached a certain place in life, and we're praying that prayer of, God, don't change anything. God, my biography's, it's done. God's like, I got more for you.
For sure. You know, when in your sermon, when you were talking about the clean stories that we're expecting, and the story that you actually get, the
roller coaster.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
Mine's similar to yours. So it's don't expedite God's plans.
Yes.
And
totally, dude.
When you do, you'll make a mess. And there's this, when you look at the promise and then the timeline, and we didn't actually talk about this in depth, but you know, this is 25 to 30 years from Genesis 12 to Genesis 22. And there's a lot that's like going on, you know? But there is this reality of you zoom out from Abraham's life, and I think a lesson that can be learned is good things don't happen instantly.
Totally.
And, you know, Jim, you've said back in the James series, like the best things come through going through the hard, right? And seasons of hard. But you just look at like all of these amazing things in life take time. You know, even when you find out you're going to have a kid, there's like 9 months of gestation, you know, from food, you know. Jim, you know, because you're the barbecue man, like
The best food.
The smoker tastes better than the microwave.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And you look at like how God operates. God is not in a hurry.
That's right.
Throughout all of human history. And we know that because he would have come back otherwise, right? Like he's not in a hurry. And for Abraham, though, one of the things that he gets wrong is he thinks that God's timeline is expedited and that it's quick. And that's where you see like the whole Hagar incident. It's like Sarah's like, hey, let's just do this thing. We've been waiting too long. And I think the lesson for us is if you try to put God on your timeline instead of you on his timeline, you will try to expedite things and you will make a mess.
Yeah.
And part of why God operates slow, and we've talked about this through the series, is he is taking Abraham on a journey of formation. And that's part of the reason why God takes a long time, because he actually cares about the process.
Yeah.
You know, he's with us on the journey, but there are things in all of our lives where the best things are going to take time.
Yeah.
And so I think like when you just zoom out, you see this several times throughout the narrative of Abraham's life. But as soon as he tries to like speed it up, it's like, that wasn't what God was doing. Totally. God had a plan all along. It was slow and it was going to be really good.
Yeah.
And instead, you know, all the stuff that we just talked about of, man, you wonder about like the regret that he lives with. And I think that hits a lot of us, you know, because we want things quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that sticks with me is you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I think there are a lot of these little aphorisms that we have in the English language that essentially have the message that whatever's most practical is what you should do.
Yeah.
And all of your ethical decisions, your actions that you take, you just have to deal with what's the realistic circumstances.
So
It's good.
And with Abraham, it's, hey, a kid's not coming. You got to do what you got to do.
that's right.
Got to get Hagar in here and get her pregnant so that you can have a kid to come. You're moving into Egypt.
Gotta lie.
Yeah, you got to lie. You're wondering, what are you gonna? Is this your sister or your wife? You got to do what you got to do if you're going to survive in Egypt. And I just think that somehow slips into our mind, and it slips through the grid, through the filter that Scripture should provide. And God's word is almost always saying, no, you got to do what God is calling you to do.
Exactly.
And if it seems unbelievable and impossible and hard and costly, you still do that.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that you said that, because I feel like sometimes we talk about practicality like it's something that we just landed on and invented.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Like it makes us so advanced to be practical.
Yep.
And then you see in Abraham's story, like there are all these moments where he did just that, and God's like, no, that's not what I want you to do.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, there are the moments where the practical move is not what God wants him to do, and Abraham obeys, and then he sees God at work in incredible ways.
Yeah.
Like even going simply to the dividing of the land between him and Lot, and Abraham prioritizing holiness and the promise and saying, I'm not going to get the nice lush land, even though it is my right to have it.
And we're in a desperate
situation.
Yeah.
But I'll choose to stay in this place where I've built this altar and just trust that God's going to provide.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up the mountain with Isaac and trust that he's going to provide. And, you know, I'm going to go to the battle with like a handful of ranchers and trust that he's going to show up.
Totally.
But none of those are practical.
Turn down the gift from the king.
Yeah, and turn down the gift from the king.
From the king of Sodom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the completely impractical. If he's just saying you got to do what you got to do, then what we get is we get a couple chapters about like a guy who's a decent rancher.
Yeah.
You know? No blessing to the nations.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what it makes me think about when you say that? It's like you'll read, there's a million books out there about success. But like when you hear from successful people, oftentimes like it sounds like that. A lot of impractical decisions.
Right.
Like, you know, that like you can't just like write these things down and go do A, do B, do B, C, like, because I think God is writing a different story.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying every successful person's like a flop, but I think it's like something you even see in the pattern of the world.
Exactly.
And that,
and it's not to say that you should always be completely impractical.
Totally, no.
Like you should eat your cereal with your feet like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's just weird.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when I was in high school, we used to do ridiculous things just because we could.
Yeah.
With the car in particular, we drove through the drive-through in reverse.
Wow.
Yeah, just to see them like freak out. We'd go to Superior, drive to Superior just to get like one burrito. And it is stupid to say and unwise to say sometimes that you should just do things because it's unorthodox.
Sure.
Because there's a creational order to the world and a general way it works. But then there are moments when the practicality just isn't evident, but it's clear that God has called you to do this.
Yeah.
For example, you're going to get married and someone says, you really should live together first.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And then you're like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
It's practical. Save
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's true. That's the downside to being overly pragmatic,
Yeah.
is because that's not how God operates. You know, and there is something to practicality and pragmatism, but when you prioritize pragmatism over godliness, that's where you get massive incongruence.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean there's obviously a creational order. It doesn't mean that God is anti anything efficient. But when that is the thing that is prioritized, or the idol, you see that it leads to all kinds of ungodliness.
It's a life where faith is entirely unnecessary.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Except for faith in your ability to kind of work it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you even think about like how God has chosen to carry forth his mission that started with Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually in like the most
It's impractical.
impractical way.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has been thousands of years,
I
and there's
know.
still people on earth who haven't heard the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And yet this is how God has chosen to invite us in and use us. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's by far the slowest, most impractical way. And yet it's how God has chosen to carry forth his mission.
Yeah, that's
is
right.
that we would make disciples.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, God could have like done this in a real quick. He could have made Pentecost the whole world, you know? And yet that's not how he's chosen to
What
operate.
we love about like so much of our lives today are the reason like we're even here is the result of like a lot of impractical decisions that people have made, like, you know, when we were in our most vulnerable places. Like I think the gospel is flipping a lot of that on its head. And
Yeah.
like this is, forget practicality, like this is the way of the kingdom that strong versus weak, all these
the upside down
are all upside down and showing us something more beautiful than practicality alone.
How has your life and your faith benefited from somebody else choosing not to be
Exactly.
practical?
Great question. Love that.
I'm curious, like really, does anything pop for you guys?
Where do you want me to start? I'll let John go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I think about going back to early on as a Christian. The salon owner that I ended up working for after I became a Christian, he was a believer, and he did like the most impractical thing, and he wasn't trying to make like the maximum profit. But he would just be around and be there to like invest in employees. And he could have done a lot of other things with his time. He could have ended up making a lot more money if he had. But this guy started even like we did a Wednesday morning where it's like, man, this is a business owner. And he's like, hey, you know what? I just want to invite people that want to like come and do a Bible study.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Totally.
And yet he was really influential in my faith early on as a guy who kind of shepherded me, who was a business owner, who did like a pretty impractical thing. And he could have used that time so many other ways. And even when he was just around and investing, and not only for me that we met up several times outside of the salon, but he was doing that for other people, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one that like comes to mind of like early on where I was struck by how different he was as a Christian business owner from the previous salon that I had left because the owners were corrupt, you know? And it was just a very different way of operating. I was like, this feels so juxtaposed to how these guys were running things.
Sure.
And it was all pragmatic, very practical, and they had a well-oiled machine. But people were getting run over at the same time. And that's not to demonize, you know, the practical, but this guy's name was Bob, the salon owner. And what Bob was doing was, it seemed just so different and so impractical. Like, why is this guy doing this?
Yeah.
But it really benefited my own life and faith.
Wow.
I'm going to name two guys that I love that very impractically helped me to even be where I'm sitting right now. And that's Jim and John.
Dang.
How so?
I mean, you know, I walked into this place, this church where I'm at right now, Redemption Tempe. And I remember early on leading classes with John and not even being able to like get through a sentence.
Really?
Yeah. You know, just nervous and incapable, and like even like John's persistence and like, dude, like bringing up stuff that I needed to hear, but not giving up. You know, because I could have been crushed in that moment to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not cut out for this. And I feel like there was always so much grace and like, just like there was a hope in something I didn't even see in myself. You know, and I would say same thing with you, Jim. Like, even inviting, you know, me to be a part of the team here and stuff like I didn't come in as a pastor or anything like that, right? But, you know, down 5 years into this now, I'm like, man, God, I see, you know, I'm in this and this is where I'm supposed to be. But I didn't see it back then. And it could have been really practical to hire somebody with a lot of experience and giftings. And, you know, I remember even getting started preaching. Like, you would split your preaching days so I can get reps. You know, like, dude, it's like an investment. That sounds like, oh, that's what you should do. But I mean, there's a lot of, I think, people in your positions who wouldn't do something like that. Who would go like, yeah, dude, you got to like figure it out and get some more reps before you even try preaching. Or you got to like get all your ducks in a row before you teach something, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was more of just like an ongoing investment in my development where, you know, I think I try and look for people like that now.
Yeah.
You can just practically go, oh, it'll be too hard. Like, they're just not there yet. And you can find someone who's more capable or competent or whatever it is. But, like, God used you guys to do that in my story. And, like, I think it was a beautiful picture of, like, impracticality. And,
That's cool, man.
Yeah. It's cool. Like, I'm here probably as a result of that.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
cool.
told you, like, as soon as I became a lead pastor, I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to do. And at the very top of that list was hire Warren.
Oh, dude.
And I do think, like, if we're like a factory or like making a product or a performance or something like that, you want to get the person who has the experience and all that. But if it's about making disciples and forming people, the stuff I was seeing in you, I know that for the long term, that's what would serve the church well.
Not
in that
practical,
way.
though.
Yeah.
You know, when you have immediate needs and things that you need to get, like, it's not practical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know, the one for me is the Rents family, Mark and Barbara Rents. They used to be a part of the church here before they moved to New York. When they moved to New York, they had this house that they had for 30 years almost. And they wanted to keep it in the family. They were like mentors to us. but we clearly could not move into that neighborhood. And they sold it to us for like $40,000 under what it appraised for.
Wow.
So that we could get in that neighborhood. That's wonderful. And not just get in that neighborhood, but like the house stays with the memories, you know, because with my childhood, or my youth, I should say, I spent a lot of time there getting wisdom from them, making my biggest decisions in that living room.
Crazy.
Asking, should I marry this girl named Jenny?
Crazy, dude.
And if you think about
cool, man.
probably what that $40,000 has become as the value of the house has increased, they probably provided, you know, I don't know how to do the math on that, but well over $100,000 of what would be equity now that is going to help sustain the life of my daughter even after we're gone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, totally, bro.
Yeah.
But the most impractical thing for these folks who need to go buy a house.
Dude, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is to maximize. Yeah, dude. Totally.
And let me just say this one other thing, because I think that ties to the other anti-lesson that I was thinking about, which is that God wants to bless you, and that's it.
Yeah. That's a good
That
anti-lesson.
blessing
it's just for you. It's just about you.
It's just about you. But blessing is for the sake of blessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that it flows outward. But I think it'd be really easy to read the story of Abraham and just to cut out what is a part of every time he reiterates the promise.
Yes.
And it's that you would be a blessing.
Yeah.
Dude, totally. And you just think about that, right? It's so evident because look at what happened in Egypt and what happened with Abimelech. If God did not intend for those people to like experience his blessing, like even with Abimelech, he could have just killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have just killed him.
Yeah.
You did
Totally.
think you're dead.
Totally.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
He like makes them aware to what he's done wrong. They have the conversation.
Yeah.
And he tells him to go get prayed for.
Dude, totally.
Totally.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
it's far more than just Abraham here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
point.
It's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know how much time we have here.
We're probably 5 minutes left.
5 minutes
Yeah,
left. The only other thing I had was just, is there anything else that popped where you saw God move that you wanted to lay on the table here that there's no good question to get at, you know?
I had a conversation, I told Jim about this probably a couple weeks ago, where there was a congregant and he was just wrestling with just like God in this whole story. And, you know, I love that. I love that he was like looking at God in all the non-linear ways that he was working. I'm like, why? And there was just like a genuine wrestling with, I think, the text, who God is, a part of the Bible that often people just skip over, right?
Yeah.
To get to the Jesus
Yeah.
side, you know, that like really made me glad that we went through this series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, man, it was so exciting to see a handful of people give their lives to Jesus during this season, you know, even on Sundays during the response time, we had people, you know, giving their lives to Jesus, even outside of Sunday services. And you hear about those things and you're like, man, it's just so evident that God is on the move. And with that, one of the other things that was just like a big highlight is I met with so many people throughout this series that said, you know what, I was never really, I like knew who Abraham was, but I didn't know the story. And people were shocked at how deeply they connected to Abraham's life and story. And why it was a highlight is, for one, it really just brings to the forefront that this is the beauty of God's word, is that the Spirit speaks.
Yes.
And through an ancient Near Eastern man's life thousands of years ago, the Spirit brings that to bear on people's lives today. And there's just this like, the Bible is not disconnected from our lives.
That's right.
And I think that taught people how to read the Bible who maybe hadn't read the Old Testament before, but people were actually surprised of like, man, I didn't know how this series was going to go. I didn't even know who this dude was, but man, I feel like Abraham, you know, and like, man, I feel like, and people were just the number of people, it was really profound saying, I feel like God is speaking directly to me. I feel so deeply connected to this dude. And that was a highlight. I loved it. And I think if I'm being honest, and I know that we've even talked about this as a preaching team, I'm actually a bit surprised at how well the series went as a whole. Like, you never know how Old Testament stuff, like sometimes it's going to be weird or it's going to be hard. But this really felt like God not only used it, but it actually felt like our church needed it with where we're at. And so I was surprised, and it was a really beautiful season to preach through this series.
Yeah.
What about you, Jim?
Good. I think one thing that pops is the conviction of people feeling like they've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and that they need to like fully give themselves over to God.
Yeah.
There's a theme I heard a lot. I really felt like I heard it walking away from Jake's sermon on Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
And the example of Lot really bringing a lot of conviction to people who want to kind of be in the world and of the world a little bit, but still get enough of covenant to work out all right, you know, that sort of thing. And I thank God for that, because
Totally.
that conviction could spare people a lot of the same sort of heartache that Abraham had as he like looks at his life with regret.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it was an incredibly fun series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. God used it to speak to you. And man, we remember, like, one thing we didn't do through this series, I'm surprised no one did this. I'm going to tell you guys something I'm surprised neither of you guys did, plus Jake. No one sang Father Abraham.
Yeah.
It's right there, dude.
I didn't grow up in the church,
Come on,
man.
dude, had many sons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
The truth is, like, we are sons in the lineage, from the lineage of Abraham, and with that comes the same call that was on him. We are blessed to be a blessing.
Amen.
And so hopefully, again, God used it to speak to you in so many different ways, and the reflections that even we share today are some of the things that God has placed on your heart. And so we're excited, glad to wrap it up, but also excited for the series ahead, which is the parables. And so more to come on that, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it here as well. But looking forward to diving into Jesus's parables with you in the season ahead. And guys, we just want to thank you so much for joining us today on the All of Life podcast. Really looking forward to seeing you next time right here. Peace.
Great. Boom. You were the one, if anyone was going to sing Father Abraham. That would have been your move.
I know, dude. I meant to do it during my last one.